You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. Goaltender interference, it's not a real rule.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everyday for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything about your Carolina Hurricanes. I am your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers, also the co-host of the Surge Cast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all of my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Today's show is going to be about what in the absolute heck that was Tuesday night for your Carolina Hurricanes. Going to get some fan questions and reactions, and also get to listen to Brind'Amour post-game. Before we get into whatever this rant session is going to be, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And oh my absolute goodness. I don't usually try to rant on the show. I try to keep a calm, cool, collective. But oh my gosh, what a game Tuesday night. Where to begin, I have no idea. Is the fact that the Hurricanes gave up a goal less than 30 seconds of the game? You know what? It happens. They've done it before. Just an unfortunate mishap. Pierre Kachakov's first game back in a while. And what can you do? You know, they tied it. Eric Robinson tied the game. Cool, great, fantastic. You know, 7th of the season. Great depth scoring. Great job by Marty Necas to get an assist in this game. His 39th of the season puts him back out front in terms of, well, at the time tied with Kirill Kaprizov, and then later on he does go ahead. We'll get to that here in a second. And then, of course, as we record, Kirill Kaprizov actually got the game winners. So, you know, the Hurricanes, hey, you want to get back into it? It's 1-1, no big deal. And then, you know, Seattle gets one in the second period. Okay, Eli Tolvanen, unfortunate circumstances. A two other Hurricanes to the net with two other guys right by the net off the initial Bjorkstrand shot. What can you do? You go into the second period. Hey, you know, you're going into the third. You know, you're only down 2-1, not really playing your greatest hockey, but hey, you're still in the game. And then, like I said, Martin Necas gets his 13th of the season, makes it 2-2. You have an opportunity, you know, hits this, you know, multi-point game for him once again, 39th point. Of course, Kaprizov got the overtime winner, like I said earlier, so now they're back to tied at 39 apiece, but hey, you'll take it. And then the Carolina Hurricanes scored, and oh no, oh wait, that's right. Goaltender interference is not a real rule. It is a objective. It's we'll figure it out as we go. For the absolute fact that, okay, yes, Robinson maybe might have backed into Joey Daccord a little bit. Daccord was still able to set himself up, play a phantom puck that was nowhere near him, and he still got scored on. There was enough time in between Robinson slightly touching him to Daccord backing into the net and setting himself up before the puck even got to the goal. I've seen ones where it's like, okay, it's a blatant goaltender interference and it's not getting called. This was not goaltender interference at all. This was long enough for him to set himself up, and they still called it one. Oh, and obviously it's Jack Drury that scored it, because every time he scores, it gets taken back for some unknown reason that makes no sense. But somehow Toronto, in their infinite wisdom of looking at for multiple angles that not everyone sees, somehow calls that goaltender interference. And once again, it makes you wonder, what is goaltender interference? I am so sick of this being a thing every single season. Every single year, this is an issue. Goaltender interference is a it's not a rule. It's just a ruling or a calling that is to the opinion of the official and or Toronto. And it is such a frustrating thing to deal with season in, season out. And somehow the Carolina Hurricanes never get the benefit of the doubt of these calls. Tracy, I don't know how many times he's made a case for it to not be goaltender interference, and it is. And then when it's the way like Tripp is set to a dial where he say, okay, this is goaltender interference or this isn't goaltender interference, and it's always the opposite because it's the Carolina Hurricanes, and they never, ever get that chance to make it right for them. So it is a absolute joke that once again the Hurricanes don't get the benefit of the doubt on a goaltender interference subjective we'll make it up call because for whatever reason it just doesn't work out that way. So the Hurricanes should have had a lead, don't have a lead, and then less than a minute later the Seattle Kraken score. Go figure. As always, that does happen to the Hurricanes. Every time it's like, okay, the Hurricanes score. Nope, take the goal off the board. Boom, the other team scores. And that's what happened. The Hurricanes go up, and then Yanni Gourde scores it on a whatever that was goal by him. And then, Brandon Tanev floats the puck over Pyotr Kochetkov. Makes it 4-2. I can't even bet at Pyotr because yes, the first goal, first goal of the first shot, first goal is his first game back after concussion protocol. What can you do? Second one, hey, he got the save. Teammates weren't there to stop it. Yanni Gourde, hey, you know what? It is what it is. It's just an unfortunate circumstances from the hockey gods. And then Brandon Tanev, just played Pyotr correctly. Figured out his strategy. Oh, he's going to poke check it? Just float it over him. No big deal. But hey, you know what? The Hurricanes did go 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. That's good at least. And they also went 1 for 1 on the power play. Hey, that's really good too. Here is the thing though. You cannot have 7 shots in 2 periods again. They did that against the Panthers Saturday. Followed it up with another 7 shots in 2 periods. 2 again in the second. How you're even in this game 2-1, getting outshot 20-7. At the time it was 20-8, and they took it off the board and made it 20-7. And gosh bless Jordan Martinook for understanding it's like it stinks. We should not be playing like this. This is not Hurricanes hockey, and the fact that we should not be having them be beating us on the scoreboard in the shot counts. And he's right. You're used to seeing this team put up 30 almost by the end of the second period. They had 7 total shots in 2 periods. This is the second time in 2 games where they had 2 shots in a period. Last time that happened, Florida scored 4 goals on them. And like I said, I'm really trying not to rant. I don't usually rant on the show, but this is the epitome of a game where it is somehow nothing's going right, but some of the Hurricanes are going to win this. They get a lead. You think, okay, you're feeling pretty good. Hey, you know what? It's not the cleanest of wins, but it's a win. You'll take it. You're happy about it. It's the Hurricanes. They're back in the win column. And no, once again, it is a rule, and I'm going to put that in air quotes of a rule that makes no sense. It's not black and white. It's not a black and white call. High sticking, hit the dude in the face with a stick, call. Slashing, you slash the guy's stick, call. Hooking, you put your stick on his hands. That's a call. Goaltender interference? Yeah, maybe. I've seen goalies get absolutely smoked and not get called. I've seen more contact in a baseball scuffle than what I saw in some of these calls for goaltender interference. That wasn't goalie interference. Not by a long shot because the guy set himself up in the crease almost 30 seconds after the initial contact. That was barely contact. I've seen goalies get absolutely slew-footed in the crease, or even like partially knocked 5 feet in the other direction, and that's not called for some reason. Oh, because his teammate knocked into him. Nah, it's no big deal. But Robinson can get called for, it's goaltender interference. Yeah, he touched him. He wasn't set yet. Not set yet? What are we even doing here? Overall, you know what? It's a frustrating game. The Hurricanes have lost 3 in a row. You know, it's the first time all season they even lost multiple games in a row. They're still 16-8-1. They're still in the fight for the Metro Division. It's just, they got 19 shots in the game. 12 came in the third period. They got a power play goal. Special teams was great tonight. There's the takeaway. Special teams was great. 2 for 2 on the PK. 1 for 1 on the power play. You had a lead. Unfortunately, it was taken away by a BS call. Yes, you do need to shoot the puck. Yes, you need to. I don't know what that was, and you could tell Rod Brind'Amour was not happy. On the bench, I have never seen Rod Brind'Amour that mad in so long. Oh, it's just, the Hurricanes almost set a new Rod Brind'Amour era record for least amount of shots in the game. 18 is the least, and that was back in 2022. I think it was against Pittsburgh. They somehow managed to go from being a single-digit 7 to finishing with 19 because they had 12 shots in the third period. I mean, hey, you know what? They finally figured out the shooting. They shot the puck. Great. That's awesome. And everyone knows how much I love this team. I try to be the most optimistic. Hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Whatever, we're still in it, and I'm still that. I'm still in the optimistic of like, hey, it's 16-1. They're going to be fine. You're still in the hunt for the Metro, but this game tonight, I know this is wins. It's just frustrating on so many levels. Between somehow not shooting the puck again for the second game in a row, to getting a lead and then losing it on the softest 10-ply baby food soft call of a goaltender interference I have ever seen. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's just what it is. It's frustrating. It's just I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to say else other than it's frustrating. It's not goaltender interference. It's an absolute joke. The Hurricanes should have won the game, despite not playing 60 minutes of Hurricanes hockey like we're used to. And you know what? Every team has a bad game. I'm not going to fault the guys for it. Everyone has a bad game. Heck, the Jets on Tuesday night just lost 4-1 to the St. Louis Blues, and guess what? They're on a 4-game losing streak. And those guys were 9-0 at one point. So you know what? I'm not going to be completely upset with the guys. Everyone has a bad night. It's a bad stretch of 3 games. You know what? I'd rather have a bad stretch of 3 games right now in November into December, than in the playoffs. Get it out of the way now like we did last year, where the team kind of was not so having great, and then you get the players only meeting in December or whenever that was against Vancouver on the Canadian trip. Flip the switch and they went off. You know what? If it's going to happen again this year, they might have a slight skid. Hey, it's 3 games. You got the Avs coming to town who just came back against the Sabres, losing 4-0, 1-5-4. Fine. Maybe that's a game where you kind of wake up and be like, hey, we got to take care of business here. Maybe that'll be it. If you're in a small skid now, 3-0, fine. You lost 3 games in a row. And this is your skid. Cool. Do it now. Do it now in November and December, early on. Don't have it again. If you lose 1 or 2 games, fine. Like I said, everyone goes on a skid. The Jets are on a 4-game, losing streak right now. The Avalanche were on a longer one. The Rangers, at one point, were on a 5-game losing streak. I will not fault the guys completely. Yes, they should have shot the puck more. They know that. We all know that. They're feeling it too. Rod's not happy about it. But I'm not going to say that this team is done, they're cooked, or anything like that. They are still 16-8-1. They're still in the playoff picture, still in the shot for in the Metro Division with the Capitals and the Devils. They're still within a shot for a division title. Yes, we have a long way to go. This is only game 25 of 82. This game all came down to, like I said, the softest goaltender interference call that was not a goaltender interference call. That's all I got to say about it. So, you know what? What else can you say? It's a game that they should have probably won, even though they weren't playing the greatest. But hey, what can you do? Hockey, man. It's just hockey. And the Carolina Hurricanes not getting the benefit of the doubt when it comes to calls like this. But that's my initial reaction. Sorry if the rant was kind of not what everyone's used to. I don't usually rant very much, but you know what? This kind of had a call for it. So you know what? You know my feelings about this. Let's get to the fan questions, everyone else's reaction to this. So stick around. Else will do that here in the second segment on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment a war with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said at the end of segment 1, we're going to go into some fan questions and fan reactions to the game from Tuesday night. And this is from Jess Drake from Blue Sky. Her reaction, ugh, that is all. Yeah, pretty much. Jess, you nailed it. Ugh. Yep. Straightforward. Okay, this one is from Blake Cole at Blake C. Cole 94 on X. How would you like to see goaltender interference handled? I feel like the puck position is immensely important as the coordinator play towards a ghost puck. Shouldn't lose that to a team, but thus is hockey. You know what? At this point, I really don't know. I really don't know how they're going to do this. Because obviously the opinion calls, subjective, objective, whatever, how you ever want to define this thing, it's not working. It's not been working for the last couple seasons. It seems like every year it's always a point of contention. What's goaltender interference? No one knows what it is. It's commented on every game because one game will look like it could be blatant, and then they say it's not, and then there could be slight contact on another, and the guy's fine, and they call it anyway. No one knows. Announcers don't know it. Writers don't know it. Goalies don't know it. It is a rule. What am I talking about? It's not a rule. It's not. It is a subjective, we'll figure it out. That's it. That's all it is that, we'll figure it out. How I want it to be handled? Make it black and white. Touch the goalie. Okay. Was he able to reset? Yes. Fine. Not goaltender interference. Did you touch him? Yes. Was he not able to play the puck? No. Goaltender interference. Make a nice little diagram. Like you see, you make your choices of like, did you do this? Yes, no. Then it goes on to different areas and it just keeps going down in a chart. Do that. At this point, I don't know. Talk to the goalies, let them figure out what the rule is, and maybe let them write it. It's just, I don't know. I really don't know because as of right now, nothing. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. It is a rule. It's an opinion call that does not make any sense, and I don't know how to make this any better. I don't think anyone knows how to make this better. Like I said, the best thing I'm going to do is come up with a diagram and be like, did you touch him? Yes. Did he reset? Yes or no? Or did you touch him? No. Not goaltender interference. Or did the guy bump him into him? Yes, the defenseman bumped the other guy into the goalie, not goaltender interference. If the defenseman bumps the guy into the goalie, okay, there you go. This is not goaltender interference because the defenseman hit the guy into his own goalie. Plain and simple. Did the other guy touch him? No. Then it's not goaltender interference. Did he touch him? Yes. But was he able to reset and play the puck? Yes. Not goaltender interference. Was he not able to? Then it's goaltender interference. I don't know how much. You got to make this simple. You got to make this black and white. You cannot leave it to, well, you see, it might have been here, it might have not been there. No, it's got to be a definite call. It can't be maybes. It can't be, well, it might look like this, it might look like this on the slightest of things. It is a rule. It is a calling that makes no sense, and I don't think it will ever make sense because this is Gary Bettman's NHL, where nothing makes sense and it never will, especially this call. Well, maybe we go to the refs. Okay. Well, let's go to Toronto. Toronto doesn't do very much of that either. They don't know what's going on. So what's the point? It makes no sense. All right, this is from Key Bartlett, Avs Canes fan. I know she's pretty happy about her Avs tonight, unlike her Hurricanes. Rod has tried a bunch of different line combos, and it seems to have hurt rather than help. What kind of reset does the forward group need in order to be more effective from top to bottom? Put Kotkaniemi, Robinson, and Nietzsche's back together. That was a line that was actually working. Shane Willis and Mike Maniscalco talked about on the latest Canes cast. There are some guys who benefit from having certain guys on their lines, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi is one of them. If you keep jumbling the lines up and putting him with guys that doesn't make sense for him, then it's not going to be beneficial. You keep him with the line that made sense, has been working all season in Robinson and Nietzsche. I understand Andrei Svechnikov has been kind of struggling as of late. You got to get Sebastian Aho going, despite the fact that he's a point-per-game guy. Hey, Seth Jarvis is coming back to the roster. We got to put him somewhere. Okay, that's fine. Jack Roslovic, it's kind of, slowed down. Maybe he's not scoring as much as he has, but fine, no big deal. You'll figure it out. But if you're talking about line combos that need to work, Robinson Cock together, because that was a line that was absolutely clicking from the jump after the Edmonton game. Once those three got paired together, they went absolutely off. Yes, you saw Robinson back with Nietzsche tonight. Great, fantastic. Did they play well with Aho? Yeah, they were all right in the first period. But if you're talking about the three guys that made sense that were clicking, Robinson, Kotkaniemi, Nietzsche. Put those three back together. I don't care how you do the rest of the lines. Those three have to be put together. The Jordans can stay together, fine. Past that, do you put Carrier in the third line? Fine. You got to figure out what you got to have Seth Jarvis with Sebastian Aho. Those two have great chemistry together. I don't care who else you're going to put on that line. They got to get someone that's going to work with those two, and they've got to figure something out. Now, in terms of with Jack Drury and Jackson Blake and Andrei Svechnikov, Jack Roslovic, put Roslovic on the first line with Aho and Jarvis. I don't know. Maybe put Blake up there. Blake seemed to did pretty well with those two guys at one point. It's just Svetch with those two don't work. I like Andre, but he just does not work with Aho and Jarvis. I don't think he works with Aho. Those two just somehow never have worked together on the line. Power play, maybe. Lines, no. Not 5-on-5. If you're looking for a forward reset right now, you got to get that Robinson, KK Nietzsche's line back together and go from there. Because that line was absolutely buzzing for games. And now you scored 5 goals in 3 games total. Not a game. Not 5 goals a game. 5 goals in 3 combined games. This team was averaging over 4 goals a game. And obviously, we know that sometimes that pace is not going to be sustainable. I mean, it's hockey. You're going to get shut out at one point. You might score 1 or 2 goals, but you still might win. But there's points where you're scoring 4 goals a game, and you had that line together that was clicking. Luckily, Martin Each has got a couple points tonight to get himself up to 39. Should have had 40 on the Jack Drury goal, but hey, I touched the goalie. Can't do that. Can't touch the goalie. But I don't know. Forward lines, I don't know. At least you gotta get those 3 back together and go from there. Well, no, it also put Jarvis back with Aho. That's the best I can do for you on that one. And then the Jordans with Carrier. So there you go. You got your second line because Rod doesn't number his lines. So you got Robinson, KK, Nietzsche, Martin, Ekstall, and Carrier, and go from there from the other lines. That's the best I got for you on that one. But thank you to everyone who sent in their questions. Now you get to hear you've heard what I said for the last 2 segments. Now you get to hear from the head coach himself, Rod Brind'Amour, after that performance on Tuesday night. So you know what? Stick around as we'll listen to the Rod Brind'Amour press conference here in a second on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less than on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run a game all season long with PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Sign up today and get $50 instant when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Think Connor McDavid will get more than half a goal next week? Do you think Austin Matthews might get more than a goal and a half in the next game? Well, you can come got hot takes with your friends and win real money this hockey season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks. Now, for me, I can go into a game and be like, okay, will Martin Each just get a 1.5 this next game? Or do I think that maybe John Tavares will win more than 9 faceoffs? Well, I could do that, and you could do that with PrizePicks. So download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And where you can do that? Well, you can do that at PrizePicks, where you can run your game. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said, at the end of segment 2, you heard enough from me about what I had to say about this game. Now we're going to listen to Rod Brind'Amour in his post-game press conference and what he thought about the game from Tuesday night overall. So you know what? Without further ado, let's just listen to Rod Brind'Amour and get his thoughts right now.
That's obviously the bigger issue is the first 40 minutes of that game, but you finally get a little momentum going. You score that goal to go ahead, and it comes off the board. Where do you stand on a call like that where there's contact, yes, his toe is touching the line, but how the contact is initiated maybe?
Yeah. I mean, what do you say? I mean, I would have loved it to go our way. The explanation was sometimes they call it that way, sometimes they don't. They said they decided we had enough contact on the goalie that he couldn't play his position. Doesn't matter that he's not in the paint. You kind of assume he has to be in the paint, but and you did say it's 50-50. They just kind of thought it was enough that he couldn't play the position, so whatever. We lose a lot of those.
How disheartening is it that you're not playing your game, and one of the things you're probably saying to guys is you've got to get to the net, you've got to get to the dirty areas, and then when you do,
yeah. Listen, I think your better points what happened the first 2 periods where we just didn't get anything going and start the game, you give up a goal right away. Like, that's just that's not kind of unacceptable. So yeah, we fought back a little bit, but you can't play 2 periods like that.
Are you shocked that the call came back so quickly for something that's so close. And I mean,
Just look at the history of the goalie interferences with this team. Just look at them.
Rob, were you saying that the officials told you that they thought it was 50-50?
He said it was. He was really good about it. Because I came home, he said, "I remember one time last year, you had one where the goalie's head was out just outside the blue paint, and there was contact, and we call it a good goal because it wasn't enough." I don't know. We all know this goalie interference thing is very subjective, I guess, and we just seem to always end up on the wrong end of them. And that's what's a little bit frustrating.
Thank you to Rod Brind'Amour and the Carolina Hurricanes for that. And yeah, you pretty much heard it. It is you can't play overall the first 2 periods of the game. You can't play like that. You can't play to where you get 9 shots, you get 7 shots total, and you get down early. You kind of you get the goal to tie it up, and then you kind of just cardio for, to put it lightly, they cardioed for most of the game, for the first 40 minutes of the game. You can't do that. It's unacceptable. And even Rod Brind'Amour said in another quote later on that the fact that you need their big guys to step up, and no one, and it was a game where no one did, and it was tough. And that's where you're at right now. And then, of course, talk about the goaltender interference. I said it earlier in the show. Rod Brind'Amour said it right there in the press conference. The history with this team and goaltender interference calls, I would say 90% of the time never goes their way. I would almost guarantee to say 95% of the time the Hurricanes are never on the right end of those calls. And Rod said it. Hey, it's subjective. Oh, they can be like, well, it's 50-50. We gave you the good goal last year, and they, try to explain it, and it's just like, and the fact of how fast that call was for being so 50-50 and so close, putting that in air quotes, it's just, you could tell Rod was not happy about it for the fact that, once again, it is that type of call that goes and burns this team. You finally find a way to get momentum. You finally get a way to score goals, and you're finding, you're getting your legs back under you, and you lose a call like that. And Rod said, it's like, hey, it's one of those, subjective calls that just doesn't make any sense, and it's always up in the air, and you just never know what you're going to get because it's never the same. And with the Hurricanes, it's always the opposite of what it from what it looks like. They always get called the opposite of what it actually is, and that's just unfortunate. And that's just the Hurricanes' MO, reputation, unfortunate circumstances when it comes to goaltending interference, and that's where you're at right now. Like I said, there's a lot more to it. It's just, at least right away you kind of get from Rod Brind'Amour's perspective, it was an unacceptable game from the Hurricanes, and yes, it's rightfully so. You can't blame them. The first 40 minutes was not great hockey by those guys. You can't have one goal in seven shots against a team like the Seattle Kraken, who are below 500. But at least they try to fight back as much as they could. Especially in the third period where you tie it and then you almost get the lead, and then it just doesn't work out your way. So it's, hopefully this is a game where you kind of flush away, you kind of figure it out and get ready for Thursday, because you're going to need to against the Colorado Avalanche, because that's going to be they're on the upswing. Yes, they're playing, okay hockey, but after coming back down from 4-0 to win 5-4 against the Sabres, you better be ready for Thursday night against the Avalanche, because we saw what happened last time the Hurricanes played them, was 6-4, where Avalanche scored 5 goals in the second. If you think the Kraken game was going to be bad, you cannot play the first 40 minutes of how you did against the Kraken and do that against the Avalanche. Not with McKinnon, not with Rantanen, not with Makar, not with that team. The first 40 minutes in that Kraken game, you play like that against the Avalanche, that's going to be a lot worse than what we saw from 2-1. But I feel optimistic. Maybe they'll figure it out, and they'll right the ship, and maybe we'll get a competitive. Because last year we saw a competitive game where Martin Necas had a natural hat trick at the Lenovo, of course, at the time, PNC. But no, you gotta feel optimistic about it. Hopefully it kind of works out that way. But yeah, overall, tough game. And at least Rod put it the right way. Yeah, unacceptable hockey in the first 40 minutes, but also a really soft, subjective, judgmental, optional call where those don't usually get called, got called, and you unfortunately unraveled and lost the game that you probably should have won. But what can you do? But all right, guys, that's enough for me. You've heard me rant and talk enough about this whole episode about just whatever that game was. I thank everyone for sticking around. If you have listened, want to keep everything I got going on, you can follow me at OneTrueZach on X. The podcast is at @LO_Hurricanes. If you also want to follow me on Blue Sky, I'm at the Zachary Martin. Thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of the day. For your second listen, make sure to check out Fantasy Hockey on Locked On Fantasy Hockey and get daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find the podcast on YouTube or listen to podcasts. For this show, you can check it out on Locked On Hurricanes on Spotify, Apple, wherever. Make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. And I might just run the show for you guys on YouTube. Search Locked On Hurricanes. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you don't miss a show. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me know if you like the show as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. How are you feeling about the game against the Kraken? Do you kind of feel the goaltender interference really kind of derailed the team? How do you feel about them only having 7 shots in the first 40 minutes? Let me know your thoughts overall. And do you feel optimistic about the game against Colorado on Thursday? But I hope everyone enjoyed this rant-filled episode of Locked On Hurricanes. I promise you guys we're not going to get a lot of those, hopefully. Just tonight was one of those nights, I guess. But hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone has a great Wednesday. Hopefully, it gets just kind of relax and just take a deep breath and know your team is still 16-8-1 and there's still a lot of season left to go because we're only 25 games in. But hope everyone has a great rest of their time. Have a great day, and until next time, as always, let's go, Canes.